Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for your support on Patreon, Nathan For You Ford. The wrestling world was completely shaken by the news last week that Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff were returning to positions of power within WWE, both becoming executive directors of weekly TV shows. Paul Heyman will be the executive director of Raw, while Eric Bischoff will have the same role on SmackDown. While they're both known for their contributions to the wrestling industry during the 1990s, it is 2019, and the landscape of wrestling as a whole has totally changed. Will the pair of them have what it takes to pull the sinking ship of WWE out of the water, or will they add a few extra holes into the side of the ship? Was that a Titanic reference? Those people died. Anyway, I'm SoCalVal for WrestleTalk, and let's take a look at how Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff will save WWE. Before we start though, make sure to press the thumbs up on this video, subscribe, and click the bell icon to enable notifications, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day, which today is, what's one thing you would change to save WWE's product? Now, without further ado, let's get into it. With these two at the wheel, we can expect that WWE shows will become edgier. And no, not that Edge, but he would make a fabulous commissioner. Maybe a cameo? You never know these days. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the legend, the greatest promo man of all time, and my personal favorite, Paul Heyman. He is, of course, most well known for his time in ECW, where he pioneered a more hardcore, edgy style of professional wrestling. While there's no way that ECW is coming back, or anything even close to it, there's already been some teases on Raw that the weekly shows may become a little bit more edgy. In the opening segment of Raw this past week, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley crashed through the LED board with explosions and pyro galore. That in and of itself is a change-up that felt a bit harsher compared to the usual weekly show. But then to add on to it, Corey Graves on commentary let out a holy sh**, which has since been bleeped out of the broadcast. That felt naughty. Not very ladylike. Oh, I got the vapors. Raw is broadcast on a slight delay of a couple minutes, which means they had time to bleep that out in advance if they wanted to, but they left it in. While some argue this was a slip of the tongue, it seems more likely that this was a planned line, possibly from Heyman's influence. Cheeky. I love it. The TV-14 product is not coming back, but the LED crash was a very, very good PG spot that felt more hardcore. In this new Heyman era, we should also expect that there will be more factions. Hey, you know what's great? Factions. You know what Eric Bischoff's greatest creation was? A faction. Well, after the Elimination Chamber, which was more of a nightmare-inducing creation, but I digress. Let's put two and two together here, and there might be a bit more emphasis placed upon factions in the coming months. Bischoff, of course, helped the NWO skyrocket to success in the 1990s, and then it sort of ran into the ground. But let's not talk about that part, because we're being totally positive today. There were a ton of factions in ECW, so Heyman is no slouch when it comes to booking groups as well. This combined experience may very well lead to some more factions in WWE, which we've already seen from this past week of TV when the Club re-debuted, turning heel on Ricochet in the process. We can also predict that overlooked new talent will be pushed. Finally, something that wrestling fans have been calling for what seems like an eternity is for various wrestlers to get the spotlight that they deserve. And some of that may very well be on the way if the past is anything to go by. CM Punk, for example, was the star that Paul Heyman always saw. He was the reason that Heyman originally left WWE after creative frustrations surrounding Punk's booking, or lack thereof. Wouldn't you know it, CM Punk turned out to be a massive star, one of the biggest WWE have had in a long time. This eye for talent that Heyman has could be crucial in securing the spotlight for other wrestlers. We've already seen the Street Profits on Raw this week, and Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer recently reported that Paul Heyman and Aleister Black have been working together. So perhaps Black is the next breakout star just waiting to burst forth. Also, here at WrestleTalk, we're expecting more car crash TV. So this may seem like a bad thing on the surface. Car crash TV is not something that people have been calling for, but let's look at the positive side of this. Bischoff's greatest success and downfalls, but let's not get into that, came from having wild, wacky shows where you have no idea what's about to happen. Because realistically, anything could happen. It might be a small silver lining, but at the very least, if crazy, wild stuff happens, it will make for an exciting show as opposed to a bland, boring show that gets repeated week after week after week after week. And here's something else to look forward to. Intergender wrestling will be officially introduced. While it may not have been the most tasteful thing in the world, ECW used to have intergender wrestling for better or worse. As the world has evolved from the 90s to 2019, so has intergender wrestling. If you go outside WWE, intergender wrestling is everywhere, and it's really, really good. Just look at Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, or Chris Brooks facing literally anyone on the UK scene. There's a ton of intergender wrestling out there. WWE may evolve too to include some aspects of this. It's not Not likely we'll get full-blown intergender feuds, but there's already been teases of intergender matchups sprinkled throughout the company in recent times. Hell, Nia Jax entered the Men's Royal Rumble this year and got a super kick, a 619, and an RKO for her troubles. Just this past week on Raw, Becky Lynch tapped out Mike Kanellis, so the seeds are there, but we very well might see that expanded upon in the near future. We can also expect to see a total revamp of branding in WWE. As previously mentioned, this past Monday's opening segment of Raw saw Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley go crashing through the LED screen on the stage. While this could just have been a cool spot by itself, there might have been an ulterior motive for it. The ever-reliable WrestleVotes on Twitter has reported that WWE were already planning a revamped look of Raw, including a newly designed stage, and this segment may have been a way of speeding up the introduction of it. Ushering in a new design for the weekly shows is an easy way to make them feel fresh and new, and it's a change that Heyman and Bischoff most likely would have wanted themselves anyway. Considering there were already leaks of a potential rebrand for SmackDown with their move to Fox later this year, we may very well be seeing some fresher looking shows, which leads me into my next prediction. Raw and SmackDown will feel totally separate. One of the biggest complaints fans have had since WrestleMania 35 is that both Raw and SmackDown felt like the same show. With the Superstar shakeup, the introduction of wildcards, Shane McMahon appearing wherever and whenever he wants, and with SmackDown showing more and more Raw replays, the shows feel like the same program shown over 2 nights. With a potential rebrand incoming for both shows, and with 2 distinct personalities helming each show, we may finally get an actual brand split, with 2 people competing to run the better show, in kayfabe and in real life, with Heyman and Bischoff each vying for their show to be the A show. So the one night of the year when Raw and SmackDown go head-to-head in direct competition might actually mean something. What a concept! Survivor Series might actually be a meaningful show. We can dream, right? In all seriousness though, having 2 distinct shows will definitely improve the product and will make fans tune into both shows to make sure they don't miss all the craziness from each show. I think it's also safe to say that there will be more focus on promos, because Paul Heyman cuts a really good promo, nay, the best promos ever. This isn't news to anyone, but what it means for the future of WWE might be newsworthy. Heyman has already been known to help top stars with their promo work, most notably Ronda Rousey, thank God for that, she's as dull as paint, and she could use some mascara. And with him reportedly working with Aleister Black in recent times, that might be a defining factor as to why Black's promo work has rocketed upwards in quality. Now imagine Heyman translating all that guidance and talent to an entire roster. Imagine Heyman focusing on less scripted promos, giving each character their own lines to say instead of every character feeling the same because they all say the same thing time after time. That is the future we could be heading towards. For an eternity, scripted promos have been the most talked about problem with the current WWE product. I mean, hell, it was almost the entire point of Jon Moxley's rant against the company in his now infamous episode of Talk is Jericho. We could be getting rid of that, and I, for one, am here for it. What else can we expect? More cultural relevance. Saying Vince McMahon is out of touch with current day affairs is essentially white noise at this point. It's been said so many times. Whether it be making references to things 50 years out of date, relying on stars of the past, or still utilizing tactics that worked in the 80s, Vince McMahon has refused to evolve with the times. Now we have 2 figures who are at the pinnacle of being in touch with their fans when they were running their respective promotions of ECW and WCW. Granted, we're yet to see if they can hang in the current day, but at the very least, they're not Vince McMahon, who actively refuses to change. At least they might be willing to learn and grow as promoters. While Vince might rely on cheap heat and foreign heels, Heyman and Bischoff should know that those things just don't work anymore. If all goes well, we might be seeing more focus on a product that's grounded in realism and fitting for a TV show in 2019. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a very special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling behind me right now. Make sure to press the thumbs up, subscribe, and bell icon to enable notifications, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day. Press the videos to my right to be taken to more WrestleTalk and Screenstalker content as well. For WrestleTalk, I'm SoCalVal, sending kisses from California.